Hello everyone, Jeff and Jay here with another edition of Jay's Big Adventure. Jay's the fuzzy guy, and today we're wrapping up the story on our 1978 BMW R80/7. I've been riding motorcycles since 1978 and started riding BMWs about 2005. I've always wanted an airhead and just never gotten around to it. I bought a 95 R1100 RSL that happened to be the exact same paint code as my 88 M3 convertible. Had that for a while, got into the K-bikes, and never went back. I'm a power junkie, and at that point, our bikes just didn't have the kind of grunt that I was looking for. But I've always wanted one. They're simple, they're reliable as a stone. I've ridden one with 400,000 miles on it, and that sort of longevity really intrigued me. Just didn't have the time or the energy or the money to do it. Decided about a year ago that this definitely was something that I wanted to do, and I just kept my eyes out looking for something that was decent. I love my K1600 GT, but it is complex, it is sophisticated, and it is not easy to work on. It's kind of what I was trying to avoid by going with an R bike. I looked off and on, kind of here and there, and suddenly got a phone call just a couple months ago from a buddy of mine who said, hey, a buddy of mine had this old R bike sitting in his garage. He bought it as a project. He was going to turn it into a cafe racer. This is the way those projects go. And he needed some money, and I bought it. And I'd like to fix it up. I'd like your help. Okay, great. He didn't know anything about motorcycles, doesn't have any tools. But this was actually a really good project bike because he couldn't hurt it. It was already dead. The bike didn't run. How much damage can you do? Nothing. So he bought it and then promptly got a job in California and called me and said, I no longer need this project bike. Do you want to buy it? So 78 R80/7, it was dirty, but it looked like it was all there. I mean, the bike was all together. It wasn't in boxes, which is the way some of these projects go. Went up to take a look at it, and it was actually a pretty solid bike. Tires needed to be done. It didn't run, but for $2,000, I figured I can part the bike out. I can sell the bits and pieces and get the money back if that's the way it goes. So I broke every rule I teach on my channel on how to buy and sell motorcycles and make money at it. Number one, I paid good money for a bike that didn't run. You know, basket case bikes are $500, they're $800, not $2,000. This is a buddy of mine, he overpaid, I helped him out. But I was in the bike pretty deep if there was major trouble with this motorcycle, and I didn't know. It could have had, rod bearings out, could have had, pistons that were broken. Who knows what was wrong? I could have ended up with a pretty good sized boat anchor, but I figured I'd give it a whirl. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two was I bought a bike with known title problems. I've got a whole video on how to not get taken buying and selling long distance or online. And title work is a big part of that. That's how you get in trouble. This bike had not run in years, it had not been titled in years, and the guy had signed it Johnny Smith. The title read John P. Smith. This is a problem. When you take that into the license branch, they're going to say the name on the title does not match the signature on the title. They'll kick the title back and they won't register the bike. You then have to get a form that's called a one and the same form that the owner has to sign that says, yes, Johnny Smith is John P. Smith. And if you can't find him, there's no way to get that paperwork signed. So in spite of that, because of my experience, I bought it anyway. I was able to get the title work straightened out and get a clean title in my name, and then started working on the bike. So first off, I had to make it run. So put a battery in it and all the electrics checked out. The headlight, starter, everything works. The cutoff switch, all the electronics and the electrics on the bike worked with a good battery in it. So that's a good sign. Next, I turned it over with the starter and there were no loud noises. There was nothing that was concerning. I was able to get the bike into neutral, go through the gears on the starter, and all of a sudden, this looks like it's a pretty good investment. But the carburetors were dead. If I squirted starter fluid into the airbox, it did try to start, so looked like the compression and the plugs and stuff were in good shape. So the next step was to take the carburetors apart and rebuild those. And I've got a video series on that as well. Took the carbs apart, cleaned them in an ultrasonic cleaner, put them back on, got them readjusted, and by gosh, the bike runs great. Starts, runs, drives, the clutch is in good shape, the gearbox is in good shape. It's surprisingly quick for only being 53 horsepower. Well, it was 53 horsepower at sea level 40 years ago. Okay, who knows what it's making now? But it runs and drives, actually, and rides really well. So then I thought, okay, now that I've got a decent running bike, let's clean it up. I polished the aluminum wheels. There's a video on that. Buffed the paint. And then decided that the bike cleaned up really well. The scratches on the frame really took away from the quality of the presentation. So I took the entire back of the bike off the seat frame and took it apart, stripped it, painted it, put it back together. And when I was done, it was a pretty good looking motorcycle. Bought tires for it and put it online, and I sold it for $3,300 to the very first person that saw it. Now, I'd spent a couple $100 on tires. I'd spent a little bit of money on the paint and getting the title work in my name. But I made $1,000 profit in a couple of months on a $2,000 investment. There are not many places where you can make a 50% return on your investment and enjoy it in the process. Okay, if you want to invest in the stock market, that's great, but those are intangibles that are tough to deal with. This is a motorcycle that I could ride. I really struggled with whether I wanted to sell this bike or keep it because it rode so nicely when I was finished. Ended up putting it up for sale, got my money back, and now we're off to look for something else. So this is exactly what this channel is about. It's about helping people learn how to make money while they're riding and driving fun stuff as opposed to spending money to do the same. And we're going to have more videos coming up soon. So please like, please watch, please subscribe, and we'll have more videos out soon.